hello, sneaking up on me again. My name is Clive from Clive's Art and you've joined me in the studio, and welcome students. Now, in a previous lesson, the one before this really, part one, we discussed mixing skin tones, and it's not easy. I will admit that it's not easy. It's made to look easy, but it really isn't. But we are here to try and simplify things. So once we've discussed using these little selector tools to get, you know, your skin tone. Once you get the basic colour that you want, the undertone painting, this is what I want to do. Is I want to do an underpainting, and I want a darkish colour, and then I can get and add lighter values to that then and build it up. What I didn't mention was the use of blue and burnt umber. Yes, now blue and burnt umber mixed together, as you know in a previous lesson a few weeks ago, I showed you how to make black, and that's an interesting one if you can find it. And if it should be under the tips, I think, either tips or techniques. Have a look in there. Now to knock, because how can I explain this? The brightness of a colour, if you want to knock it back, then you can add burnt umber and ultramarine blue, and that'll make a black, and add white to that, it'll make you a grey, and then you can add a little bit of that grey into the mix and it'll dull it back and knock its chroma back. That's what you're looking to do, and that's going to help with the mix as well. Yeah, in fact I think I'll show you what I mean. So round and round and round we go. Where we land, I will know, because I'm at my workbench. Okay, so we need some ultramarine blue, very quickly. Ultramarine blue, Clive, ultramarine blue. I got some here somewhere. My palette is paint selections all over the shop here. There we are, ultramarine blue. We got burnt umber on the palette, so I'm just going to put a spot of that out. There you go. And have a look, very quickly. Okay. Bit of ultramarine blue, bit of burnt umber, and you mix them together. Make sure they mix together well. Bit more burnt umber to that. And get a nice black, and then add white to that. You could see it goes like a nice grey. And that's what you need to add to your paint. Let me just show you quickly. So this pick up a bit of flesh tone, pre-mixed flesh tone that I made. Now if I wanted to knock that colour back, see that colour? I just add a little bit of grey to that, and that takes it, dulls it then. There you go. There we go. As you can see, that's not far off, because it will dry darker. So that's a very quick way of knocking your colour back if it's too bright. That was neat there, 2 lessons in one. Let's get back to the canvas, let's zoom round and round. And where will we stop? Nobody knows. Yeah, I do, because I'm going to stop it here. Whoa! Okay, so yeah, so burnt umber, bit of ultramarine blue, make it black, add a bit of white to it, make it into a grey. Let me just clean my palette knife. And then add little bits of that grey then to the flesh tone, and that's going to dechromerize it. It's going to dull it back, and that's what you want to do. So okay, I've made a few different mixes here. I've made 6 in fact, and some of them are quite dark and funky, but these are the particular shades that I like to use. And I'll always start in the same way, and then work and build by increasing. I'll do a lot of glazing, and I might highlight the colour in, but you'll see what I mean as we progress very quickly through this. This is going to be a very quick painting. I'm not too worried about definite features and that type of thing. This is just an example. Okay, so the first colour I'm going to use, and this is one of the first colours I mixed, is this colour. Now, as you can see, it's quite, and I am pre-gessoed this canvas, which is unusual for me, but I mean it's a test canvas at the end of the day. So that's mix number 1. Now, it's quite pinky actually, and that's in around that area there. Now I mixed these the other night actually, when Catherine was actually in the studio with me, so I matched them as close as I possibly can to a skin tone, a true skin tone, because the photographs, we do not go by photographs really, we just use them as reference. And then the next colour we mixed, or I mixed I should say, is this one. You can see there's a little bit more of a yellowy type of hue to that, and it's surprising somehow times it's surprising sometimes how dark skin is. And as I said, that she's got quite a dark skin. The next mix I made was this one. Again, we've lightened it. There's a bit more orange, of a orange hue to it. And then going more into a grey type of pinky colour now. Yep. And this is basically the same colour, I just had a little bit more red to it, and there was a little bit more yellow ochre, I think it was yellow or raw sienna, I can't remember exactly. No, actually I think it was burnt umber used into this mix, if I remember rightly. And it's important sometimes, you don't remember how you've mixed these tones. There you go. And I got one final colour, and this is the buff colour I was telling you about, but I've actually mixed it myself, so it's quite a yellow mix. And that's number 6, and they are all the actual tones that I'm going to be using on this particular painting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the number 1, and you know that black we mixed with the grey, we made a grey with it. I'm going to add a bit of that to that mix now, and I want to show you the difference there. Shows you how it knocks it back. It's got quite a different look about it altogether. And again, number 2, we're adding the same grey that we just mixed with the burnt umber and ultramarine blue. And just wash my brush quickly. And number 3, again, add that mix to it. And again, number 4, You can see I haven't gessoed this canvas, can't you? Because it's not, that's what I mean, the paint is not flowing smooth. It never does on an ungessoed canvas. Number 5. And then number 6, again, a bit of that grey we mixed to it. Unbelievable, a totally different swatch of colour again. Now, very similar, if we just add white to that mix, so we'll start with number 6 again and we just add white to it. I'm going to start with number 5 and we'll just add white to that. I'm going to start with number 4. When I have the space on my palette, it does not matter. One, two, three, yeah, so 1, 2, 3, sorry, okay, we start number 1, 2, 3, this one. Getting myself confused, but yeah. There's number 4 we need really, don't we? We went backwards, doesn't matter. So we say number 4, here we go. Cleaning my brush. Going to number 5. We'll add in a bit of white to that. That's going to give us that colour. And let me just clean my brush. And number 6, which is the buff colour, we'll add a bit of white to that. Be careful I don't contaminate it. So again, as you can see, that's our mixes that I started with, and they are the tones I wanted. I can turn these into shadows, and these will be my lighter tones. By adding the grey, I've knocked them back, so it's changed their appearance completely. But by adding white to the mix, I brightened them up as well. So these colours, even to there, now number 2 can be used as a highlighting colour as well. So I've got a full range of colours by just mixing 6 basic tones or hues. Then by adding grey or white, I can do the whole painting with just those 6 mixes. And please excuse the crudity of this painting when I start, because I'm just going to go very quickly into this, and I will show you what I mean by establishing the darks, the mid-tones onto this portrait. I'll show you how you can use those 6 colours tweaked with either the grey that we mix with the burnt umber and ultramarine blue and white to make the grey, or we can just add white to the base mix that we made. So I've had the base 6 bases I made, and I've tweaked them and tweaked them and tweaked them, and I put them in little pots like that. So I've got enough paint to do the portrait that I'm looking to do, and what I can do now, rather than keep mixing, I can pick a particular hue or shade on my wheel there, on my colour stick, or whatever you want to call it, swatch, and then I can add all those different elements, you know, the burnt umber, yellow ochre, we can put a bit of green in there, I can red it up, but I can pick one colour and I can tweak it as much as I want, and I don't have to worry about making the base. And that's what it's all about, making life easy, and that's the easy bit. So let's try and get some of the darks onto this painting, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I very quickly clean my palette. It was a mess. Yes, it was. So we're going to get some of the shadows in, and I'm going to go in with the darkest colour first, which is the number 1 on my selection. And now I mix in a little bit of medium with this. I'm using a little bit of medium, matte medium there. Okay, not the medium mix that I mixed, but I'm going to change that formula actually. Just a touch of that, and there's a little bit of flow improver in it just to help me as well, because I haven't pre-gessoed this canvas. I should have done that before I sketched on it, but there's matter. Slap a teacher. Okay, so let's establish where these shadows are going to hit. So let's zoom in a bit. So looking at here on our black and white, you can see it's quite dark in there. So if we establish that line there, and there's a little bit of dark there, and there's a little bit of dark in there, a little bit of dark under the nose there. It's quite dark there where that cheek is, and it's a bit dark under the eye there, a little bit around there. Now adding a bit of white to that, I'm just going to go in a bit more white to that. I want to see the change in value. Not worried about features as such, I'm just trying to establish tones, and it's dark. I'm mixing a bit of my grey that I mixed with that now. I'm trying to get that in there. And there's a bit there. Washing the brush, going into number 3, picking a bit of that up. I'm going into a number 5. A bit of white to that now. We need to lighten that up. Same colour, I'm just adding a bit more white to it. I want to go across the lip there, a little bit in there. I'll brighten that up again, because I just want to get a little bit there, a little bit there, the cheek is lighter there. We'll do that slightly, I think it was number 3 there. Don't worry about the mouth. We're not worried about the mouth. So I'm going to go back into the number 1, which is at the top, just to get a bit of shadowing going in there. That's going down the neck, a bit there. A bit in there. back under there, back on that cheek there, back in the eye. And no, I'm not washing my brush in between this because I want the colours to actually blend together. A little bit of white now. Just changing my brush, and I'm going to go into a detail brush if I can find one. Where's my detail brush? Where's my detail brush? We'll use this one for now. Okay, so back into our number 1 mix. We need to establish this nose here. And this is like anything else. When you're doing this, as like landscapes or anything like that, you're just building up shapes, really, and it's just a block in the colour, really. And a little bit of that black we mixed. I want to establish these nostrils. Looks like a piggy now. Sight that in. We'll get it, we'll get it, we'll get it, we'll get it. It'll work out. That's why I like this stage. And I've always struggled, believe it or not, with noses. Well, you wouldn't believe it by looking at this one, but oh, bless you. Somebody sneezed. That's better. A little bit better. But at this stage we're not worried about too much detailing anyway. I'm just going to put a little bit of colour in the eye. 1 second. I don't like seeing the canvas. And that, what I would do then is I would leave it at that until I let that dry. You know, you can always just block in here if you wanted to. I tend to leave there the last anyway, and I work on that as a separate painting basically, because I could spend as much time on the hair as I can on the portrait, believe it or not. So it's just let's block this in a minute, just a little bit of a strange, doesn't it? It always looks strange at this stage. And that's really it. I'm not going to do any more than that, but you can see what I mean by building up in layers. Now when that's dry, we can glaze over that. I'll show you what I mean very quickly. Okay, so as I said, I do apologise for the crudity of this portrait. It's not anywhere near as accurate as I normally get it, but it's a technique I want to show you more than, you know, proportions and things like that. Because to be honest with you, my artist is coming out to me now and that is annoying me. I want to put it right, but there's no point in me putting it right because it's a practice canvas. So going into that mix there, number 6, I'm just going to make a very thin wash with that. As you can see, it's quite a thin wash. Now I've added a bit of medium mix and a bit of water to that, and then what I normally do then is I go over the whole painting or face portrait. It might lift a little bit because I just had to hit it with the hairdryer a bit. I glaze over that then. Bit like knocking the mountains and stuff back in the background, and that's basically what I'm doing there. So I'll just dry that off quickly. Like I said, I'm not going to win any awards with this particular painting, so just want to show you the technique, and then I would go back in again then, and then I would replay with these colours. And try and get no sharp edges, just blend it in. You can build up the portrait like that then. And then basically that's all I do, is I continue to do that until I get the result that I'm looking for. I am expecting it to lift a little bit now. And as I said, you can see I've already started to develop that line on her cheek, and you can always, in the detailing stage, and you can just increase the shadow a little bit with that bit of that grey that we mixed. And that's all about the detailing then. As you can see, just by adding a little bit of lighter value here and there, you can start to lift this, and the more you work on this, obviously the better it is. And you can start to separate it, and that nose from that, the lip there, by just adding that little bit of highlight. You can bring that nose up roughly to where it needs to be then. do any more on that now. But that's all you need to do, and that's skin tones. So it's a constant build-up. Once you've established, I would say minimum of 6, sometimes I do 12, it all depends. But once you've established the main colours of the skin, then you can then tweak them whichever way you want to. You can grey them off, or you can lighten them up. So you then put your darks in and your mid-tones, and don't worry about the highlights at this stage. And then once you've established the main block of colour, then let it dry, and then you can wash over it if you wanted to, or put a glaze over it, and then repaint and keep building and building and building. Now I'll show you the stage that I've got at the moment, and I'm about 5 days into this painting now, and I've been spending a couple of hours every day on it, and it's still going to take a long time for me to get it completed and get it as nice as I want it, because it is a gift at the end of the day. But you can see I haven't done that any different to what I've just showed you. So one sec, and we'll switch the camera around. Yes, nice. Okay, so it doesn't matter if I show you this now, because by the time this is aired, the painting will be completed, and it'll be on Catherine Mother's wall. So I'm not too bothered about showing you now. But I've still got a lot of work to do. But by all means, you can have a look. There you go. And as you can see, there she is there. I've started doing a little bit more detail work now. I bring in the nose around. I'm working on the mouth. The teeth need a lot of work. There's a lot more shadowing to do. I need to brighten it up a bit. I need to concentrate on the hair, and then I can work on the clothes. Then I'm going to work on the horse and the stables itself. But that is just a gesso quick drawing sketch of the horse. But we're concentrating more on Catherine's face at the moment. So yeah, what do you think? As you can see with the teeth, they are a bit funny at the moment, but it's because she's just 9 years old, so she's got teeth falling out and teeth growing, and there's teeth here and teeth there. So I've got to try and I'm going to make the lips a bit fuller. I've got a bit more work to do around the nose, because that's my Achilles heel, and I got to work around the eyes. That is the most important part, is that triangle there. So we've got to get them right to get the features right. The rest is easy. Claws, you know, they will come on their own. So there's much detail in there as I want to put in there. I'm not going to over detail the claws, because I don't want to pull away from the horse, the face or the horse. Now the horse is going to, the main detail is going to be around his eye and his nose there. So I don't want to put too much detail in there. I wanted this side of the horse to fade away into the background. So this area here and there is going to be dark but out of focus, so that you're going to see his eye, his nose, a bit of the stable wall there, but the focal point will be on that angle there. So it's straight to the face and then pull back to the horse and then back, and that's what I intend to do anyway. So from me and Catherine, or Catherine's painting, thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been of use. It is a complicated subject, and I try to make it as simple as I possibly can. But as I said, I'm not a miracle worker. I can just give you the advice that I've got and work on the experience that I've got. And in my experience, these type of paintings take a long time. I've actually done one portrait which took me 18 months. And yes, that's not a lie, 18 months to complete. Because between one thing and another, I'll never let anything go through the studio door until I'm 100% happy with it. But when I'm on a time constraint, I'm a little bit more forgiving. But anyway, that's another story. We'll cross that bridge again. But as far as tones and that is concerned, that's exactly the process I go through. Right or wrong, it works for me, and I hope that my experience can be passed along to you. If you want to look at doing some portraits, you've got a little bit of colour mixing theory there as well. But if you want to have a look at portraits, please don't be afraid to try, because you can't do anything wrong. All you can do is improve. The more you do, the more you improve. My understanding is you've got to paint 100 portraits to actually be proficient at it. So if you've just started number 1, you've got 99 to go, and there's a lot of practice. I think I'm on about my 300th and I'm still learning a lot. So I'm Clive from Clive's Art, and from Catherine on the canvas. We wish you a happy new year, and hope to see you along shortly in the studio with Clive for another lesson. So please give me a thumbs up, please subscribe if you haven't already done so, and please follow all those links below, because there's loads of videos there now, absolutely loads. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Clive from Clive's Art. Goodbye. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did making it and painting it, I must add. And well, thank you very much for watching. Check me out on Facebook. You can join me on Twitter. Don't forget to check those playlists out, and I invite you to press the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. So thank you very much for watching. I'm Clive from Clive's Art, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye bye.